Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Module 8 Certification Readiness. This is part 8 of 8 comprehensive implementation series. And congratulations if you have watched the previous modules, which mean you have a comprehensive understanding. And now we are going to prepare together to be ready for certification. I am your host, Walball, and today we are not going to explain clauses as usual. We will go into a real world company, the usual company we are using, and I'm going to give you the highlight shortly, where we will be dissecting all the processes, all the procedures, and all the steps, and then build them together, where you will be able to see a vivid picture and have a deeper understanding. We advise that you watch previous modules because each module is built on the previous one. Now, let's proceed. Building on the improvement systems from Module 3 or from Module 7, this final module will prepare your organizations, to face Stage 1 and Stage 2 certification audits confidently and professionally. You will learn how certification works, what auditors expect at each stage, how to prepare documents and records, how auditors are conducted, how to answer auditors' questions, how nonconformities are classified and handled, and how to respond correctly to findings. This Module 8 is where you transform internal confidence into external certifications. This Module 8 of an 8 module journey from zero to ISO 9001 Quality Management System certification and beyond. Beyond means we are going to implement other frameworks such as ISO 22000 for food safety, and ISO 14001 for environmental management, and ISO 45001 for occupational health and safety. This module 8 will focus solely on certification readiness, which means ensuring certification is a confirmation of maturity and not a stressful event. ISO 9001 certification process ensures organizations can demonstrate their quality management system confidently to external auditors. This module provides practical preparation for certification that ensure Stage 1 and Stage 2 audits become calm conversation rather than a stressful event. And we are going to do it together. Now let's have a highlight of our organization, which we are going to build this certification readiness on, and you can replicate each stage into your own organization and tailor it to yours. Also, if you need any documents, you can always comment or email us, and we will be happy to help you with documentation for free. Our company name is Global Meat House. It's a type of organizations that specialize in meat slaughtering, processing, packing, and exports. Our organization scale consists of between 200 to 500 employees across two operational sites. And those sites include Site A, where we handle livestock reception operation, slaughtering operation, primary carcass operations, and initial chilling. And then inside B, we handle secondary processing operation, cutting, deboning, portioning, packing, labeling, cold storage, and distribution. Our organization's market reach includes local retailers and wholesalers. Food services operators include restaurants and hotels, and international export customers such as EU, in Middle East, in Asia, and in US markets. Key certification readiness status from Module 7 implementations are following. First, system implementation, which require complete quality management system to be operational. The status, All 7 modules that we have implemented with systematic improvement from Module 7 now are operational. Readiness, comprehensive quality management system is ready for independent verification through certification audits. Also, we have quality objectives, which we should show performance achievement. And currently, we have 6 quality objectives have been achieved through systematic improvement and performance measurement, which we will demonstrate shortly. Thirdly, we have documentations, which should include records of the systems. The readiness of the documentations include complete documents set with evidence of implementation and effectiveness from Module 7, from previous 7 modules. Employees' competence, which means they should have system understanding. The readiness status, teams demonstrate real understanding through competence development and improvement culture, which we have implemented through previous modules. Then we do have leadership status, leadership engagement status, which should be the ownership of the system. The readiness status, management reviews, and leadership accountability systems are operational and decision driven. Finally, we have audit psychology, which means we should possess professional confidence to interact with auditors. The readiness status, our internal audit maturity and learning culture supporting confidence of external audit interaction. And we will demonstrate how you can build your team to be confident to interact with external auditors. Our goal today with Module 8, we will prepare our global meet house to face stage 1 and stage 2 certification audits with confidence, demonstrating real implementation of the 6 quality objectives. Our quality objectives includes customer complaints have been reduced from 2.3 to under 1.5% of the shipment. And also the second objective is specifications conformance have been improved from 94 to 98% accuracy. Our third objective is temperature excursion have been eliminated from 8 incidents from previous year to 0 this year. Then our fourth objective is traceability performance have been achieved by ensuring 100% success from 8 gaps of last year. Our fifth objective is export documentation accuracy have been improved from 93% accuracy to 99% accuracy. And finally, our sixth objective is cost of poor quality reduction, which we achieve to reduce by 30 to 50% from 384,000 USD baseline identified. This module ensures certifications becomes independent verification of real maturity, not approval or consultancy. Now let's recap what we have learned so far from previous modules. When we start with the first module, understanding the organization, we have covered the following. Organizational contexts have been analyzed. We have identified interested parties, including customers, regulators, suppliers, and employees. And also, we have mapped our process approach from livestock reception to slaughtering operation, to processing, and to distribution. Also, we have defined our scope to include 2 sites operations and our 200 to 500 employees. And then we have established current performance baseline, which is at 384,000 USD cost of poor quality. Then we move to Module 2, which is leadership and quality culture, and we have covered the following. First, we have created leadership accountability metrics, and then we have established quality policy to cover animal welfare, cold chain, traceability, and export compliance. Then we have set our objectives of quality, which consists of 6 key metrics targeting real performance gaps, and then interface control procedures of 1500 kilometers transport between site A and site B have been covered. And then we have established leadership routines to ensure the engagement, including daily routine, weekly routine, monthly routine, and quarterly routine. Then in module 3, which is planning the quality management system, we have covered the following. We have established risk-based thinking framework. We have created risk register for all critical interfaces. We have linked our quality objective to all identified risks, and we have defined change management procedures, and then risk control have been designed for prevention. Then in module 4, which is support processes, we have covered the following: resources and infrastructure management system, competence framework and training program, communication system connecting sites, document control system have been operationalized, calibration and maintenance program have been implemented. Then we move to module 5, which is operational control, and we have covered the following: process mapping and control system have been implemented, supplier management program have been operationalized, product identification and traceability system have been implemented, non-conforming product controls have been implemented. Then we move to module 6, which was performance evaluation, and we have covered the following: KPI dashboard and monitoring system have been operationalized, customer satisfaction measurement and complaints handling, learning focused internal audits, decision driven management review process have been set in place. Then we move to module 7, which is improvement, and we have covered the following: nonconformity management and corrective action systems, root cause analysis and system focused improvement, continual improvement culture, and learning systems. And today, in module 8, certification readiness, now we prepare to demonstrate this complete system to external auditors with confidence. The system is implemented. Now we demonstrate it professionally. How each module support the certification readiness, let's take a look on that. First, our quality objectives: customer complaints reduction from 2.3 to under 1.5. From module 6, performance, we have complaints tracking, trend analysis, and monthly reviews have been implemented. Then in module 7, improvement, we have root cause analysis, corrective actions, and complaints prevention systems have been implemented. Then in module 8 today, certification, we have evidence of achievement are ready for auditors verification. For our second objectives, which is specification conformance improvement from 94% accuracy to 98% accuracy. From module 6 performance, we have the following: performance monitoring, yield analysis, and rework trending have been implemented. And then from module 6 improvement, we have the following: process improvement, variation reduction, and capability enhancement have been implemented. Then we do have in module 8 today certification, we have the following: performance records demonstrating sustained improvement, have to be presented. Our third objective, which is cost of poor quality reduction, from Module 6 performance, we have the following: cost tracking, waste analysis, and management review focus have been implemented. Then in Module 7 improvement, we have the following: waste elimination, process optimization, and cost reduction projects have been implemented. Then today in Module 8, which is certification readiness, we will have the following: financial evidence of quality management system effectiveness must be presented for auditors to see the cost reduction in action. Our fourth objective is temperature excursion, which we intend to eliminate the 8 incidents from last year. For Module 6 performance, we have the following: continuous monitoring, trend analysis, and excursion investigations have been implemented. Then in Module 7 improvement, we have the following: system improvement, equipment upgrade, and excursion elimination have been implemented. Then in Module 8 today, which is certification, we have to present the following: zero excursion records, proving control effectiveness. Then our fifth objectives, which is traceability performance, where we target elimination of 8 gaps and ensure 100% success of traceability. From Module 6 performance, we have the following: monthly traceability tests, gaps analysis, and performance measurement have been implemented. Then we do have from Module 7, which is improvement, we have the following: gap elimination, system enhancement, and 100% success achievement have been implemented. And today in Module 8 certification, we must present the following: perfect traceability demonstration for audit verification. Then our last objectives is export documentation accuracy. From 93%, we must improve to 99% accuracy. From Module 6 performance, we have the following: accuracy monitoring, error analysis, and customer feedback have been implemented. Then we do have from Module 7 improvement the following: error elimination, process improvement, and accuracy enhancement have been implemented. Then we will have today from Module 8 certification readiness, we will have to present the following: documentation accuracy records meeting export standards to be shown to the auditors. Module 8 prepares the evidence that demonstrates achievement of all of our 6 quality objectives. And in this case, the objective can be replicated to your organization. You can draw similar table and tailor it to your own organization. So we will link all 6 objectives to external auditors through professional audit interaction. Certification is independent verification, and certification is not approval or a consultancy. That's what Module 8 will teach us today, because Module 8 prepares your organization, our organization, to face certification audits with confidence and professionalism. Here in this module, we will prepare for stage 1 and stage 2 audits that verifies real implementation rather than test documentation. This is where you discover how to interact with auditors professionally and demonstrate system maturity confidently. Today, we will learn together how to demonstrate real implementation by showing auditors evidence actual system operations and effectiveness. Also, we will learn together how to interact professionally by responding to auditors' questions with confidence and evidence based answers. Then we will learn together how to sustain certification success by maintaining system effectiveness after certification achievement. Module progression from improvement to certification readiness. We progress from previous module 7, which is improvement, and we have covered the following: nonconformity and corrective action, root cause analysis, continual improvement, and learning culture building. And then today, in Module 8 certification readiness, we will cover the following: Stage 1 and Stage 2 preparation, audit psychology and confidence, document readiness, and professional audit interaction. Then also, we will cover the multi-standard extension. We'll have an overview of the following: ISO 22000 or FSSC 22000, ISO 14001 Foundation, ISO 45001 Preparation, and Integrated Management System Overview. Module 7 provided the improvement, which is systematic system strengthening, and Module 8 provides the certification readiness, which is professional demonstration of real implementation. What this module covers, let's explore together. This module prepares for Stage 1 and Stage 2 certification audits through comprehensive readiness preparation, professional audit interaction, and confidence building. The core certification preparation, which we must cover, include understanding what certification really is versus misconceptions, Stage 1 audit preparation and required documentation, Stage 2 audit readiness and implementation demonstration, professional auditor interaction and questions answering, nonconformity classification and professional response, complete document set with implementation evidence, and audit psychology and confidence building. In our real world example in Global Meat House, the module addresses actual certification challenge for two sites meat operation, including document preparation, audit walkthroughs, real audit scenario, readiness checklist, and professional audit interaction. We are going together to demonstrate the system confidently, avoid common failures, and manage findings professionally and sustain certification after success. Again, like we said earlier, we are not going to explain only clauses. We are going to walk through together in a real life, real world implementation. By completing this module, you will be prepared to face Stage 1 and Stage 2 audits in your organizations with confidence, ensuring certifications become confirmation of maturity and no longer a stressful event. Auditors don't want perfections in reality. Auditors want evidence of control. Understanding this make a big difference. Certification process is about demonstrating real implementation and system effectiveness. This module prepares organizations to interact with auditors professionally and show evidence of control rather than perfection. Organizations must demonstrate their quality management system through independent verification that shows real implementation, not perfection documentation. Auditors look for evidence of control, they look for employees' understanding, and they look for system effectiveness. Certification is not a test of documentation, It is the test of understanding, and we will walk you through now how to differentiate that. By doing so, this is how you prepare for certification by demonstrating real life understanding and control rather than perfect paperwork. First, let's clarify what certification is and what certification is not so that we can avoid pitfalls. Certification is independent assessment, which focuses on evidence driven verification of system effectiveness. Understanding what certification truly means prevent common preparation mistakes. First, what is certification? In a real sense, certification is independent assessment, and certification is sampling based verification. Certification is evidence driven evaluation, and certification is focused on effectiveness. Certification, however, is not consulting or approval. Certification is not 100% inspection. And certification is not opinion based assessment. And certification is not focused on paperwork. We will demonstrate as we go through. By understanding certification as an independent, sampling based, evidence driven assessment, focus on effectiveness rather than consulting, rather than inspection, rather than opinion, or rather than paperwork focus, you prepare appropriately for professional audit interaction. Roles in certification, we must understand the roles of organization, the role of certification body, and the role of auditor, and the role of employees to be prepared. First, the role of an organization is to implement and maintain the system. Then the role of certification body is to assess conformity independently. The role of auditor is to collect evidence systematically, and the role of employee is to demonstrate real practice. Understanding these distinction roles ensures appropriate interaction during certification audit. Organizations implement, certification bodies assess, auditors collect evidence, and employees demonstrate practice. First, let's look at the stage one audit. The purpose of a stage one. Stage one purpose is to answer only one question, which is this organization ready for full audit? That is the only question. And we will show you the mandatory documents that you will need to have to be ready for audit shortly. First, stage one is document and readiness review that determines whether the organization is prepared for stage two, which is implementation assessment. Stage one audit reviews documents, reviews planning, and readiness to determines and readiness review readiness to determine if the organization has sufficient system foundation for a stage two audit. If you fail in stage one, stage two will not be allowed. By understanding stage one as readiness verification rather than implementation assessment, you will be prepared appropriately to demonstrate, you will prepare appropriate documentation and demonstrate system foundation effectively. What we can take away here, if stage one fail, stage two will never be allowed. And we will show you the document you need pass. Stage one will cover, stage one audit will focus on system foundation and readiness verification. We are going to show you the table with key areas auditors examine during stage one so that you can be ready for it. The first area the audit will look at during stage one is the scope, and they will check if the scope is clear and realistic. In our example in Global Meat House, our scope has been defined in previous modules where you can learn also how to define your scope, which include slaughtering at site A, processing, packing, cold storage, and export at site B. The objective evidence here to show the auditor's two-site operations clearly defined in the scope. The second area the audit will look at in stage one is context and interested parties. An auditor will be looking if the context and interested parties have been identified and relevant to your organization. In our case study example, Global Meat House, that include internal and external issues table and stakeholders register. In previous model also, we show how to design that and how to identify them. The objective evidence to show auditors here is the design that we implemented in Module 1, context analysis completed. The third area the auditor will look at in stage 1 is documentation. And in stage 1, auditors will be looking if the documentations exist and if they align with your operations. In Global Meat House example, we will show risk-based audit program and completed audits. The objective evidence we learn from Module 6, the internal audit system, how to design it and implement it. Sorry, in Global Meat House, let's go back to the area. In Global Meat House, uh, the third area the auditors will look at is documentation. And the auditor will look if documentation exists and align with our operations. In Global Meat House, we will show quality policy, we will show procedures, and we will show process maps. Objective evidence, we will show what we have learned from Module 1 to Module 7, all documentation sets required as per ISO 9001 clauses. And the other area the auditor will look at in stage 1 is internal audit. And the auditor will look if internal audit has been planned and has been implemented. In Global Meat House, our case study example, we will show risk-based audit program and completed audit. The objective evidence, we will show the design that we have learned from Module 6, which is internal audit system implementation. The other area the audit will look at in stage 1 is management review. The auditor will look if the management reviews have been conducted and they will look for evidence in records. In Global Meat House example, we will show management review minutes with decisions that have been made and implemented. The objective evidence, we will show what we have learned from Module 6, management review process, and how to design it, and all we have learned there and implemented. The last area the auditor will look at in the first stage or in stage 1 is legal requirements. Auditors will look if the legal requirements have been identified. In our Global Meat House case study example, we will show export compliance and food safety regulations compliance. The objective evidence to show, we will show what we have learned from Module 3, which is how to design and implement risk register, including legal requirements. This stage 1 coverage ensures the organization has sufficient foundation for stage 2 implementation. And you can replicate this to your organization Just look at the areas, including scope, context and interested parties, documentation, internal audit, management review, and legal requirement. Then tailor the rest to your own organization. I can send you this table if you need it. Stage one requirement required documents. Now we will show the complete set of the required documents to demonstrate that the system is functioning in stage one. Stage one required documents that must show that the complete quality management system is designed and planning. Sorry. Stage one required documents that must show complete quality management system design and planning. This comprehensive list that we are going to show you will ensure stage one readiness for global meat house operations. Our case study example. Let me have some water. By preparing this complete document set with real implementation evidence, organizations demonstrate readiness for stage two audit and avoid common stage failure. Also, if you need this table, I can send it to you. But importantly, tailor it to your own organizations and operations. Let's look at the document set that will be required in stage one. First, quality management system scope. The example content of quality management system scope should include clear operational boundaries. In our mid-house example application, that will include slaughtering at site A, processing, packing, cold storage, and export at site B. The second document will be quality policy. Quality policy must be signed and must be communicated with all interested parties. In our case example, that should include animal welfare, cold chain, traceability, export, compliance, commitment, and it was signed. If you watch our previous model, it was signed by CEO and communicated to all interested parties, and you should do the same. The third document is context analysis. And context analysis should show internal and external issues table. In our case study application, which we'll learn in Module 1, context analysis with meat industry specific factors. The other document the auditor will look for stage 1 is interested parties register. Interested parties register should include stakeholder identifications. In our application case study example, that covered customers, regulators, employees, suppliers, and export authorities. The other documents that the auditor will look at in the stage 1 is process map. Process map should include end-to-end process flow. In our case study, our process map covered from livestock reception to slaughtering operation to secondary processes and to distribution flow. The other set of documents the auditor will look for in stage 1 is risk register. Risk register that must be process-based risk. In our case example application, which we'll learn in Module 3, that is risk register with controls for two sites operations is ready and available. The other documents the auditors will look for in stage 1 is quality objectives. Quality objectives must consist of KPIs with targets. In our case study applications, we do have 6 quality objectives with performance targets and measurement methods, which we teach throughout previous modules. The other documents the auditor will look for would be internal audit program, an internal audit program that should be risk-based planned. In our case study application, where we learn from Module 6 audit program, we have covered both sides and all the processes, and you can do the same. The other document that the audit will look for in stage 1 is management review minutes. And management review minutes must consist of decisions that have been recorded and implemented. In our case study application, that we learn from Module 6 Management Review with objectives achievement tracking have been demonstrated, documented, and available. The final documents that the auditors will look at in stage 1 is the documented procedures. Documented procedures must be applicable to your own organization. And here there are common pitfalls that many organizations always do, where they copy the procedures from the consultant without tailoring them. Avoid that and tailor them to your own organization. As we present all the procedures in our case study applications, where we learn from Module 4 to Module 5, operational procedures and support processes, all the documents have been designed, implemented, and recorded. Common stage 1 failures to avoid. Stage 1 failure prevents a stage 2 audit and delay certification. You should know that. And this table that we are going to show you will highlight real failure examples and their root causes for prevention. And if you need this table, I can send it to you. The first failure is having unrealistic scope. And the reason is because the scope is written in marketing language instead of operations and is vague. In our case study application, we have developed a clear scope which read as following: slaughtering at site A, processing, packing, cold storage, and export at site B. You can find the whole uh, scope definition from our previous modules, or I can send it to you. The second failure is when we have missing internal audits. And the reason we have missing internal audits sometimes is because we are rushing implementation and we don't have enough time to implement effectively. And it could be for many reasons. Mainly, a lot of organizations rush the certifications because they want to meet the requirements of a new customer. In our global meat house application, from Module 6, we learned the internal audit program, how to complete them and how to conduct them, and we have implemented internal audit before stage 1. That should be the case in your organization. Third failure is management review. When the management review is absent, and the managers are disengaged, and the leadership are isolated quality, that's a common failure because ISO 9001 requires leadership engagement and ownership of the quality management system. In our case study global meat house application, we have learned from Module 6 management review with decisions and objectives tracking, and we have implemented them, recorded them, and retained. The other common failure is when we copy and paste documents, like we said earlier, from online, from consultant, or from other organizations, from colleagues. There is nothing wrong of copying, but most importantly, we should tailor it to our organization and we should customize it to our operations, and we should train our people for implementation. Without that, we will fail because there will be no ownership or customization. In our application in Global Meat House, we have learned through previous modules from Module 1 to Module 7 how to customize documents, how to design documents specific to meat house operations. And you can learn from there too. The other common failure is risks are not linked to our processes. The reason for this was usually we have poor planning and poor risk analysis. In our application of case study Global Meat House, we learned from Module 3, Process-Based Risk Register, how to design it and implement it with controls and ownership, and we have followed that. You can find the details in Module 3 too. By avoiding these common failures, which include unrealistic scope, missing internal audit, and no management review, copy paste of documents, and risk which is not linked to processes, through systematic implementation of Module 1 to Module 7, our global meat house, and also in your organization, you will ensure stage 1 success and progression to stage 2. Now, stage 2, let's look at the purpose of stage 2. Stage 2 as well answers one question also like stage 1. The question stage 2 answers is the following. Is the system implemented and effective? And we need to prove that. Stage 2 audit is implementation assessment that verifies real system operations and effectiveness through evidence collection and observation. Stage 2 audit examines actual implementation through interviews, observations, record sampling, and traceability exercises. Auditors look for evidence that the system works in practice, not just on paperwork perfection. By understanding stage 2 as implementation verification rather than documentation reviews, organizations, including yours and mine, prepare to demonstrate real practice and system effectiveness confidently. Now let's look at the areas and the evidence needed and the application in our case study. First area, process control. Process control must demonstrate real practices. Our global meat house example, slaughter and process controls operating according to procedures. Second area are records, and records must be generated from naturally from our operations. In global meat house, temperature log, traceability records, quality check have been completed during operations. The third area to look at is employees awareness. And here we need to pay attention, provide adequate training and competence-based assessment, which we covered in previous modules. Evidence here to show that employees have adequate awareness. They have to demonstrate understanding orally and practically. In our global meat house example, operators can explain their process control and quality responsibility toward their actions. The other area is risk control. The evidence for risk control is to prevent prevention actions in real operations. From Module 3, we learn the risk control operating effectively with evidence of prevention. We learn how to design and to apply it. And you can watch Module 3 too. The other area is improvement. The improvement must show that we have effective corrective actions and follow up and opportunities for improvement that demonstrate learning culture. In Global Meat House example, Module 7 corrective action teach us how to demonstrate corrective actions and continual improvement with effective verification, where we learn how to design and implement that. Module 7 could teach you this. Mm, All right. Audit, how auditors audit. Let's explore the audit methodology. Auditors follow the process. They don't follow the people and they don't follow the randomness. There is a process that we need to understand, and we will take you through the methodology. Auditors' methodology follows systematic approach to evidence collection. Understanding this methodology builds confidence for professional audits interaction. Auditors follow a structured methodology that examines process through interviews, observations, and record sampling. They trace process from start to finish rather than focusing on individual performance. We will demonstrate that shortly. By understanding auditors' methodology as process focused rather than people focused, organizations prepare appropriate responses and demonstrate system operation confidently. Step 1, in the audit methodology, and you can copy these documents for your reference or I can send it to you. The first step is opening meeting. During opening meeting, the auditors will confirm the scope and plan. In our case study, that means we must present clear scope and audit plan for two side operations. The second step, the auditors will conduct interviews. That means the auditors will interact with people, including in the shop floor, global meat house preparation. We will show employees are prepared to explain their process controls and responsibilities. The third step include the third step is observation. And during the observations, the auditor will watch the operations in how it's done in real life. In our global meat house preparation, this means normal operations demonstrating what we learned from Module 5 operational control. The fourth step in auditor's methodology is record sampling. That means from record samplings, the auditors will check the evidence. In global meat house preparation, this means we must present complete records from Module 6 to Module 7, what we have learned, to show the performance and improvement. Then the fifth step in audits methodology is traceability. The auditors will follow the product from start to finish, or vice versa, to confirm intact traceability availability. In our global meat house, we must demonstrate end-to-end traceability from livestock to export. The final step in auditor's methodology is closing meeting, during which the auditor will share findings. In our global meat house preparation, we must we must be in this meeting with to conduct professional response any findings with understanding and action plan. And we will explain later on in this module how to interact with auditors professionally. This systematic auditor methodology ensures comprehensive assessment while providing predictable structure for professional audit interaction. How how to answer auditors' questions. Good answers shows process ownership and evidence. Will show good answers and bad answers so that you can avoid the latter. Professional audit interaction requires confidence and evidence-based responses. Understanding good versus poor answer will build the confidence in us. Professional auditors' interaction demonstrate process ownership, evidence-based responses, and system understanding. Poor responses shows lack of ownership, opinion-based answers, and system gaps. By preparing evidence-based responses that shows processes ownership and system understanding, organizations demonstrate professional maturity during audit interactions. This table will show us the bad and good answer in our applications so that we can learn to avoid the bad answers and adopt good answers. The first example of auditor question, if auditor asks, how are you monitoring temperature control objectives? The bad answer will start with something like, that is the QA job. But the good answer, the process owner will directly answer, I own the process. In our case study application, this is the following, this is the correct answer we presented. I am responsible for temperature control during slaughtering, and here is monitoring log. The other question, example question from auditor, if the auditor asks, how are you ensuring elimination of traceability gap? The bad answer will start with something like, we always do, but that's a bad answer. A good answer will start with something like, here is the record. In our case study applications, the following is the answer. Here is yesterday's traceability test showing 100% success. The third question example from the auditor. If the auditor asks how are we monitoring the documentation accuracy, bad answer will start with I think, but the good answer will start with according to procedure so and so. In our case study, this is the answer we presented. According to our labeling procedure, I verify export documentation before the shipment. The other example question from auditor, if auditor asks to explain the method of which we conduct corrective action. Let's assume that the question is not clear. The bad answer, people will start guessing, but the good answer is to ask for clarification. The following is our answer we presented in our case study. We will ask the auditors back, could you clarify what aspect of our corrective action process you would like me to explain? And definitely, we should be ready to explain. This professional response approach demonstrates system ownership and evidence-based operation, building auditors' confidence in real implementation. Real audit walkthrough. Let's take a look. Audit trails example will show how auditors examine two sites operations And this walkthrough demonstrates professional audit interaction for our case study Global Meat House. First question from the auditor: how do you control suppliers? The evidence to show here is supplier approval record. In our case, we learn from Module 5, Supplier Management Program with livestock supplier approval and monitoring. Second question from the auditor: show a slaughter record. The evidence the auditor is looking for, we must show SOPs, standard operating procedures, and logs. In our application of case study, Side A slaughter procedures with animal welfare and hygiene control records have been presented to the auditor. Other question from the auditor: how do you manage transport? Is another walkthrough question. Here, the evidence the auditor is looking for is to be shown, for example, the temperature and handover records that we have in our transport operations of 15 kilometers between two sites. And here we will show the transport monitoring with temperature log and side B receipt verification. The other question from the auditor: how do you handle complaints? In our case, we must present complaints log. In everybody case, we must the auditors is looking for complaints log and the actions taken. In our case, we learn from Module 7, complaints management, with root cause analysis and corrective actions, which we followed with the implementation and presented to the auditors. The final question from the auditor example walkthrough: show improvement. The evidence the auditor is looking for are corrective actions evidence of improvement. In our case study application, achievement of seed quality objectives through systematic improvement evidence have been shown with records. This audit walkthrough demonstrates how Module 1 to Module 7 provide comprehensive evidence of professional audit interaction and system verification. Nonconformities type. Let's look at 4 types of nonconformities. Understanding how auditors classify our findings is vital. Auditors' audit findings are classified by severity and impact. Understanding classifications helps organizations respond appropriately and maintain professional composure. Auditors classify findings based on severity and system impact. Understanding these classifications will prevent overreaction to minor findings and ensure appropriate responses to major issues. By understanding finding classification as assessment tools rather than judgment, organizations respond professionally and maintain confidence. First, the type of findings is major nonconformity, which means there is a system failure affecting the certification. In our case study application, in case of no internal audit program, we will prevent the certification until we correct that. The second finding will be minor nonconformity, which means there is an isolated lapse which is not affecting the system. In our application example, let's assume there is one incomplete temperature records, which means the system is working, but the incident is isolated, and we need to correct that. The third type of nonconformity is observation, which means there is a weak control needing attention. In our example, let's assume there is a training effectiveness have not been evaluated, So there is an improvement opportunity there to include competence evaluation. The fourth type of non-conform of finding is opportunity. The opportunity for improvement mean there are ideas from auditors where we can improve. In our example, let's assume the auditor suggests digital temperature monitoring that could improve our efficiency instead of manual monitoring. So understanding these classification will enable appropriate response and maintain professional audits interaction regardless of finding severity. Real finding example, let's walk through them. Audit finding examples shows how common issues are classified. Understanding real examples builds confidence for professional audits response. Example 1, let's assume there is no internal audit, and this will be classified as major. The reason for this classification, because it requires system elements that is missing completely, which is internal audit. The second finding example is assume incomplete record. Will be classified as minor because it's an isolated lapse in otherwise a functional system. Then we will have repeated complaints trend. These shall be classified as major. The reason for that is because system ineffective at preventing recurrence, regardless of the repetition. Then we will have an example of training not evaluated. This will be classified as a minor nonconformance because there is a partial control. Training exists, but effectiveness has not been verified. These real examples shows how auditors distinguish between system failure and isolated lapses, enabling appropriate organizational response. How to respond to findings. Professional response shows system maturity. Finding response demonstrates organizational maturity and system understanding. Professional response maintain audits relationship and shows commitment to improvement. Professional finding response shows acceptance, understanding, and systematic corrective actions rather than defensiveness, argument, or blame. This demonstrates system maturity and improvement culture. By responding to findings professionally with systematic corrective actions, organizations maintain positive audit relationship and demonstrate real commitment to improvement. Now let's see the responses. In step 1, we have to accept the findings. The action needs here for acceptance. We do not need to argue or defend the findings. In our application, we will respond as following. For acceptance, we understand the finding and accept the gap identified. Second step, we need to understand the finding. The action required for understanding here is to clarify the evidence and scope. For requesting the understanding, we will ask the following. Could you please clarify which records were incomplete so we could understand the full scope? Thirdly, or the third step, is containment. In containment here, we should apply immediate actions to prevent the spreading of the finding. In our application example, we will apply immediate verification of current records and correction of any gaps. Then we will have the next step is to analyze the root cause investigation. And as we have learned from Module 7 root cause analysis, to identify system causes of records gap. The other step is to apply correction. The action required for correction is to change system to prevent recurrence, not people. Global Global Meat House. The process is improvement to ensure complete records generation. The final step is to verify that our actions are effective and to confirm. We will follow up the audit to verify with the audit, internal audit to verify that our actions are effective. This systematic response model demonstrates Module 7 improvement culture applied to audit findings, showing professional maturity and system strength. You can replicate this type of responses, and I can send you the table if you want. Complete document set, the mandatory documents for ISO 9001. Now let's see, we will show all the documents that are mandatory. Implementation ready documentation with evidence. Complete documentation set provides all mandatory and common ISO 9001 documents with implementation evidence. This comprehensive set ensures audit readiness. Complete document sets include all mandatory documents plus common implementation documents with evidence of real operations. This demonstrates system maturity rather than just compliance. By maintaining complete documentation with implementation evidence from Module 1 through Module 7, organizations demonstrate real system operations to auditors. Now let's look at the category of the category and documents and example. The first category is the policy. The document required there is quality policy. In our example, Module 2. In Module 2, we have created and signed the policy, which include animal welfare, cold chain, traceability, and export compliance. Then the next category is planning. What required there is risk register. Our example we learn in Module 3, the process risk with control, how to design process risk with controls for two-side operations. And also in planning, we have the document requirement, which is quality objectives. In our example, in Module 2, we have set 6 quality objectives with KPI table and achieved them with evidence. The other category is operations. And with operations, we are required to present SOPs documents. In our example, we have learned from Module 5 to design SOPs, including the slaughtering, processing, transportation, and packing procedures. Then the next category is support. During support category, we are required to have the evidence for training metrics. And in our example, we have we have learned from Module 4 the role how to create role-based competence and training records, which we have implemented. Then the next category is monitoring. And with monitoring, the documents required are KPIs, KPI dashboard, and we have learned from Module 6 how to design monthly performance data showing objectives achievement, which we have implemented. You can do the same. Other category is audit, and the document required are audit reports, and we have also learned from Module 6 how to design audit findings and learning evidence. The next category is review. With review, we must present management review records. We have learned also from Module 6 how to present management reviews, how to show decisions, and objective tracking. The final category is improvement. And with improvement, we need to show corrective actions which we have learned from Module 7 how to design root cause analysis and system improvement. Example of risk register excerpt from our risk register of Global Meat House. Risk register implementation shows Module 3 risk management translates into audit ready documents with real control and ownership. In our risk register, we have the process, named by process, then by risk, then control, then ownership. We start with slaughter, example, the slaughtering process. The risk there is carcass damage, and the control we have to have SOPs and training operators, and the owner of slaughter processes is site A manager. Then the process of transportation between two sites. The risk involved there is temperature deviation, and the control of this risk include continuous monitoring. And the owner of transportation processes logistics coordinator. Then we do have the packing process. The risk involved in packing process is labeling error, and the control for labeling error is verification process, and the owner for that is site B supervisor. This example or excerpt from risk register demonstrates Module 3 implementation with clear process ownership and controls that auditors can verify during stage 2 audit. You can design the same and be ready for the audit. Now let's look at the example for internal audit report, and we will show you the excerpt. Internal audit evidence will show how what we learned from Module 6, which is audit program, and it will provide audit-ready evidence of system operations and learning culture. This is an example from our audit. This is an excerpt from our audit. First, the audited area, supplier control, finding minor nonconformance, evidence, missing supplier evaluation for one livestock provider. Second audit area is transportation, the finding satisfactory. The evidence for being satisfactory is that temperature logs have been reviewed and controls are effective. And we do have the third area is training. The finding there, we do have observations. The reason for this classification is because there is training effectiveness evaluation still needed. This internal audit evidence demonstrates what we learned from Module 6, which is learning focus audit, not blame audit, that provides external auditors with confidence in system maturity. Let's now look at example of management review minutes. Management review evidence will show what we learned from Module 6, leadership engagement, which translates into audit-ready evidence of decision-making and objective tracking. First, the topic of leadership review. The complaints trend have been shown to leaders, for example, and the decision have been made there is to revise labeling process. The action and owner, side B manager, to implement improved verification by the second quarter. The second type is resources needed. The second topic from management review, resources needed. The decision that have been made is to install new chiller. Action and owner, operations director to budget 75,000 USD for site A chiller upgrade. The third topic from management review is, is to address the objectives. The decision that have been made is to update the targets. Action and quality and owner, quality manager to revise the specification conformance target to 99%. The fourth topic from management review is addressing risks. The decision that have been made there is to add risk, supplier risk. Action owner, procurement manager to update risk register with new livestock supplier risks. This management review evidence demonstrate what we learned from Module 6 leadership accountability and decision making that auditors can verify for system effectiveness. Audit psychology and readiness. The audit mindset. Now let's learn it together. There is a fear versus readiness mindset. Audit psychology determines audit success more than system perfection. We need to understand this because understanding the difference between fear and readiness mindset will build the audit's confidence. The audit psychology focuses on learning and system demonstration rather than hiding problems and defensive behavior. Ready organizations show their system confidently, while fear-based organizations hide and argue and sometimes defy. By developing readiness mindset that shows learning culture and system ownership, organizations interact professionally with auditors and demonstrate real maturity. Now let's compare between fear and ready mindset and our demonstration example. First, in fear mindset, the organization hides problems, but in ready mindset, they show learning through the mistakes and openness. In our global meat house application, we demonstrate what we have learned from Module 7, which is corrective actions and improvement culture, where we discuss openly and celebrate those who suggest the improvement. In the fear mindset, the organization blames staff, but in ready mindset, the organization fixes the system, not the people. And in global meat house application, we show system focus root cause analysis, not people focus root cause analysis, and processes improvement. Finally, in the fear mindset organization, they argue with findings with auditors, but in ready mindset organization, they understand the finding. In global meat house application, we accept audit findings professionally and plan systematic responses. This readiness mindset demonstrates what we learned from Module 7, which is learning culture and system maturity that build auditors' confidence in real implementation. Now have a look at the final readiness checklist. Pre-audit readiness verification ensures all elements are prepared for confident audit interaction, and the following checklist confirms certifications readiness. The first is scope. The area. Is the scope clear? The answer should be no. It should be yes. The scope is clear. In our global meat house verifications, this means two-side scope clearly have been defined with operational boundaries. Second area, are processes controlled? Yes. The answer should be yes too. In your organization, in our application, Module 5, operational control functions with evidence. Are risk being managed? The answer should be yes. In our application, what we learned from Module 3, risk control operations have been effectively with ownership. Are records available? The answer is yes, and it should be yes in your organization. In the example, there are complete documentation from what we learned from all modules, from Module 1 to Module 7, with implementation evidence. Are employees having adequate awareness and competence? The answer should be yes. And that's what we learned from Module 4, competence development with process ownership understanding. Are management engaged? The answer should be yes. And that's what we learned from Module 2, leadership accountability with Module 6, management review evidence. This readiness checklist confirms that what we learned from Module 1 to Module 7 provide complete foundation for confidence certification audit interaction. Now let's look at the final module message. Certification is not the test of documentation. Certification is the test of understanding. Certification success comes from real understanding and system ownership rather than perfect documentation. People who understand their system pass audit confidently. If your people understand what they do and why they do it and how problems are fixed, certifications become a formality. Understanding demonstrates real implementation that auditors can verify. So we must prioritize understanding of our system over perfect documentation. By building understanding through from all what we learned from Module 1 through Module 7 implementation, our case study example, Global Meat House transforms certifications from a stressful event into professional confirmation of system maturity. And you can replicate the same with your organization. First, understanding element. If our people must show why they do what they do, and here that means the process ownership and responsibility, they should know why they do what they do. The auditors here will have confidence because the employees can explain their controls confidently with evidence. And then why do they do their job the way they do it? That means they understand the purpose and objective connection to their activities, our quality objectives. This means teams are linking their work to our quality objectives, and this will give the audit the confidence. Finally, your people should understand, and our people should understand how problems are fixed. And here, improvement culture and learning is the facilitator, where we celebrate people who highlight the problems and we fix them. And this will give the audits confidence because organizations will demonstrate of what we have learned from Module 7, which is having the learning culture and system is strengthening instead of blaming culture. This understanding foundation makes certification a natural demonstration of real system maturity rather than a test to be passed. Now let's look at the multi-standards extension, which we are planning for ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System. Readiness. Leveraging Quality Management System Foundation for Food Safety Standards. Multi-standards extension will build on ISO 9001 Quality Management System Foundation to achieve food safety certification. And in order to do that, in our case study, Global Meat House Quality Management System have provided the foundation for ISO 9001 and FSSC 22000. Sorry, and ISO 22001 and FSSC 22000. ISO 9001 Quality Management System implementation from Module 1 to Module 7 have provided a strong foundation for food safety standards, including management system structure, risk-based thinking, performance measurement, and improvement culture. By leveraging the quality management system foundation, our case study company, Global Meat House, can efficiently extend the food safety certification while maintaining integrated management system. Now let's look at the foundation, ISO 9001. From Module 7, we have created risk assessment. From Module 3, and that for extension for ISO 22000, that means we will extend to include hazard analysis and CCP. And in our application company, this will extend risk register to include food safety hazard and critical control point. The second foundation, what we learned from Module 5 is operational control. The extension to ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System is to include prerequisite programs in our application company. This means to build on existing slaughter and processing controls for food safety programs. Then the other foundation is performance evaluation, which we learned from Module 6. And to extend that to 22000, ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System, it means to include monitoring and verification. In our global meat house example, is to extend KPI dashboard to include food safety performance indicators. Final foundation is improvement. We learn from Module 7 to extend that to ISO 22000 Food Safety Management System is to include food safety incident responses. In our global meat house applications, this means to apply corrective action system to food safety, nonconformities, or recall. This extension approach leverages existing quality management maturity for efficient food safety certification while maintaining system integration. For ISO 14001 and ISO 45001 Foundation, environmental and safety management preparation to be built on quality management system foundation for comprehensive management system integration. The quality management system elements, the context analysis that we have created in Module 1, extension application to ISO 14001 and ISO 45001, environmental and food safety context to be included. Integrated management safety uh, benefits include single context analysis covering quality, environmental, and safety aspects. The second element from quality management system is leadership, which we designed in Module 2. An extension application will be to include environmental and food safety policy. An integrated management system benefit include integrated policy covering quality, environmental, and safety commitment. And we do have the other element from quality management system, which is risk management, which we learn to design from Module 3. The extension application is to include environmental and safety risks. Integrated management system benefits include single risk register covering all management system aspects. The other element is competence that we learn to design how to build competence for our employees in Module 4. Extension application is to include environmental and safety training. An integrated management system means integrated competence framework covering all management requirements. Finally, we have the final elements from quality management system is audit, how to conduct audit, how to design audit, how to implement audit. That we learn from Module 6. Extension application is to integrate audit program, to design integrated audit program. Integrated management benefits for the organization is to have single audit program covering quality, environmental, and safety simultaneously. This integrated approach enables efficient multi-standard certification while maintaining system coherence and reducing management overhead. The Module 8 output. Let's look what we have learned so far and what we should have by the time we finish this module. Certification readiness output demonstrates complete preparation for Stage 1 and Stage 2 audits with professional confidence and system maturity. Module 8 output ensures organizations can demonstrate real implementation confidently, interact professionally with auditors, and sustain certification success over time. Now let's look at the output from our Module 8. The first output should be complete documentation set. This means all mandatory and common documents with implementation evidence should be present. The certification readiness. This to prepare for stage 1 with readiness comprehensive documentation. Second output, we must have audit evidence, which means we should have professional interaction skills and evidence-based responses. Audit confidence, sorry. Now, the certification readiness is a stage 2 audit readiness with confidence system demonstration. The third output is finding response system, which means we should have professional approach to audit findings and corrective actions. And the certification readiness advantage is to have mature response to any audit findings with systematic improvement. The other output is to have system integration, which means we should have demonstrated connection between all modules and all learnings, all objectives. Certification readiness, that means we should have complete quality management system operations with evidence of all of our objectives achievement. Finally, the output is multi-standard readiness. In case you want to extend to other standards, foundation for food safety, environment, and safety standards. For certification readiness, this is efficient extension to other ISO standard certification. This deliverable provides complete certifications readiness while establishing foundation for multi-standards integrated management system. How Module 8 integrated all previous modules? Let's take a look. System integration demonstrates how all the modules from 1 to 7 work together to create complete quality management system ready for certifications verification. Module foundations, certification evidence, and edit demonstration. The first foundation is Module 1, where we learn the context understanding, the certification evidence for where we create the context of understanding is scope and stakeholder clarity. To have a scope and stakeholder clarity, audit demonstration is to have clear organizational boundaries and realistic scope for two sides operation. Second foundation is Module 2, leadership commitment, through which we will have policy and objective achievement. In audit documentation, demonstration, we should have 6 quality or all of our quality objectives achieved through leadership accountability. Third foundation, For Module 3, which is risk management, certification evidence, we should provide preventive control effectiveness and audit demonstration. The risk control are operating effectively with ownership and evidence. Then the fourth foundation is from Module 4, which is support system, certification evidence. We should present competence and infrastructure. And the audit demonstration is to have employees demonstrating understanding and system capabilities supporting operations. Fifth foundation from Module 5, operational control, certification evidence is to show process effectiveness. The audit demonstration is to show control processes delivering consistent product quality. The sixth foundation is performance evaluation for Module 6, certification evidence. We must present measurement and learning. Audit demonstration, we must show performance data showing objective achievement and system effectiveness. Then finally, the seventh foundation is implementation, is improvement. Certification evidence, we must show learning culture and enhancement. The audit demonstration, we must show systematic improvement culture with corrective action effectiveness. Integration. Module 8 demonstrates how all modules work together as integrated quality management system rather than separate elements, showing auditors real system maturity. This integration provides complete ISO 9001 implementation ready for independent verification through certification audits. Module 8 implementation output are the following five. And what you should have after completing Module 8 are the following five outputs. And these outputs represent tangible evidence of complete certifications readiness and system integration. More importantly, these outputs demonstrates achievement of all six quality objectives and readiness for independent verification. The first output should be Stage 1 and Stage 2 audit readiness, which must be complete documentation set with implementation evidence, professional audit interaction skill, and confidence system demonstration capability. Example for Stage 1 and Stage 2 audit readiness include all mandatory documents from all the module from Module 1 to 7 with real implementation evidence, employees' preparation for audit questions, and professional finding responsive procedures. Certification achievement through Stage 1 and Stage 2 readiness include uh, ready for Stage 1 documents review and Stage 2 implementation assessment with confidence. The second output should be professional audit interaction, which should be evidence-based response capability, process ownership demonstration, and mature finding response showing learning culture. Example for professional audit interaction include employees explain their process controls confidently with records, management demonstrates system ownership and professional response to any audit findings. Certification achievement through professional audit interaction include confident audit interaction demonstrating real understanding rather than perfect documentation. The third output is complete system integration, which should be demonstrated connection between all modules, showing integrated quality management system operation rather than separate elements. Example for complete system integration include all quality objectives achieved through integrated operations of Module 1 to Module 7, showing complete system effectiveness and maturity. Certification achievement through complete system integration include evidence of real quality management system implementation meeting all ISO 9001 requirements. The fourth output is multi-standards foundation, which should be quality management system foundation ready for extension to food safety, environment, and occupational health and safety standards through integrated approach. Example for multi-standard foundations include ISO 9001 foundation supporting efficient extension, ISO 22000, FSSC 22000, ISO 14001, ISO 45001 through shared management system elements. Certification achievement through multi-standard foundations include efficient path to multi-standard certification with integrated management system approach. The final output is sustained certification success, which should be system maturity and improvement culture, ensuring certification maintenance and continuous enhancement beyond initial certification. Example for sustained certification success include learning culture from Module 7 supporting ongoing improvement, management engagement from Module 2 ensuring sustained commitment, and performance measurement from Module 6 maintaining effectiveness. Certification achievement through sustained certification success include long-term certification success through real system maturity rather than audit preparedness. These five implementation outputs provide complete certification readiness while establishing foundation for sustained success and multi-standards extension. Demonstrating the system maturity through certification. These are the implementation priorities. First, or A, complete document set preparation with implementation evidence. B, professional audit interaction training, professional audit interaction training, and confidence building. We must always remember this and train our employees. C, system integration verification and objective achievement demonstration. D, finding response procedure and professional maturity development. E, multi-standard readiness and integrated management system foundation. The key success factors to assess the implementation. First, demonstrating real understanding by showing auditors that people understand what they do, why they do it, and how problems are fixed. Secondly, we must provide evidence, not perfection, by focusing on evidence of control and system effectiveness rather than perfect documentation. Thirdly, we must interact professionally by responding to auditors' questions with confidence, evidence, and professional maturity. Fourth, we must show learning culture by demonstrating improvement culture where problems become learning opportunities and system strengths. Common pitfalls to avoid. First, what doesn't work during the audit. During the audit, hiding problems from auditors doesn't work. Perfect documentations without implementation doesn't work. Defense responses to avoid problems. Defensive responses to avoid problems doesn't work. Employees who don't understand their systems and they are good for interviewing doesn't work. Copy paste documentation without customization from online or from consultant doesn't work. Focusing on compliance rather than effectiveness of the system doesn't work. Now, what does work during the audit are the following: demonstrating learning culture openly, evidence of real system operations, professional acceptance of findings, employees who own their processes, customized system reflecting real operations, and focusing on system effectiveness and understanding. These are what work during the audit. Your certification action plan. This is how you can prepare for step by step to be ready for your certification. First, prepare complete documentation and ensure all mandatory documents, as we mentioned earlier, with implementation evidence from Module 1 to Module 7 are available. Then, build the audit confidence. Start by training your team in professional audit interaction and evidence-based responses. Then, verify the system integration by demonstrating how all modules work together to achieve all of your quality objectives. After that, schedule certification audit by engaging certification body for stage 1 and stage 2 with confidence. Finally, plan the multi-standard extension, if that's part of your plan, to leverage quality management system for efficient food safety, environmental certification, or for safety certification, or any other standards that you can do. Now we can celebrate that we have completed the implementation. Module 8 is the final module of our series from zero to certifications, and now we have completed the quality management system. Okay, so the achievement, these are what we have completed. We are not going to repeat them again. We have covered all these points. So yeah, so I think we should just proceed to, if you have any question, just don't forget to let me know, and I will cover that for you. All right, thank you.